Ladies and gentlemen, New York is chattering more and more about deporting these criminals that come out of Venezuela. And Maduro, the president there, said all doors are closed for deportation. So he's still letting you know he doesn't care. See, this man got rid of his criminals and he don't want them back. So, a wave of violent crimes being carried out across America has been linked to Venezuelan migrants, and the US government cannot deport any of them, as the South American country will not take any of its citizens back. An illegal immigrant originally from Venezuela has been charged in connection to, the murder down there in Florida of Laken Riley at the University of Georgia's campus, and that was Jose Antonio Ibarra. New York City and NYPD are trying to crack down on violent Venezuelan gangs and says it is responsible for terrorizing residents with dozens of robberies in the Big Apple, where the group has now been blamed for scooter and moped robberies as well as retail theft. Now, I saw a story where one of those migrants, it was a black woman, they were trying to take her purse and she was able to fight back and they did not get away with her purse. So, New York City and NYPD said, there's also the retail theft that's going through the roof. And a lot of these Venezuelan migrants are heavily involved in that. I got to do another story because they're doing a lot of illegal street vending. And what they're doing is they're selling the stuff that they're stealing out of the stores on the streets. And right now, they're not stopping them. And I have to do that story. All right. So at least two of its members were arrested in connection of stocking um, stolen merchandise. And in a separate NYPD case, a 15-year-old Venezuelan migrant was arrested for shooting at cops as he fled a sports clothing store in Times Square, where the police said he shot a security guard and ended up striking a tourist in their leg. And that person was from Brazil. In Chicago, meanwhile, four Venezuelans were arrested for robbing and beating a man at the Chicago train station, CTA. Some migrants in the Windy City even told police that they are committing crimes there just so they can be deported back to Venezuela. Wow. But deporting law breaking Venezuelan migrants just got harder for the US government as the South American country has torn up a deal to let them be flown home from the US and Mexico. Venezuela has stopped accepting flights of migrants deported from the US and Mexico. President Nicolas Maduro, he said he is refusing to cooperate with deportation requests after Washington reimposed some of the economic sanctions it had previously lifted on Venezuela, according to a report in the Wall Street Journal. The deal between the two countries in October to fly illegal Venezuelan migrants directly back to their home country was meant to be a signal from the White House that it has vigorously tackled the issue in wake of mounting criticism. So I told y'all I thought they made some kind of deal That's why they were not arresting these migrants that were committing crimes. If America was doing, Americans out on the streets were doing the same thing, they would arrest you, charge you, and jail you. So they did make a deal with them. The Biden administration sought to lift sanctions imposed on Venezuela by the Trump administration, saying the it exacerbated the ongoing economic and humanitarian crisis there. So it looks like they made a promise to remove sanctions and they backed down and didn't do it. That's why this president is saying he's not taking any body deported back to Venezuela. Uh-huh. Look like you didn't do very good business here, US. These are the politicians. Y'all didn't do very good business in this case. The US estimates that 7.7 million Venezuelans have fled out of the country since 2013. A deal saw the US send around 1,800 Venezuelans on 15 flights, but the agreement was stalled about a month ago and now has completely stopped. The US had lifted sanctions on Venezuelans' oil industry and other sectors, while Maduro's regime agreed to allow elections later this year in hopes of reviving its economy. Venezuela, it says it has a population of 28 million people there. But last month, Washington ordered a wind down of all business transactions between the US entities and Venezuela's state minor, and said it would unwind easing the energy sanctions if Maduro administration did not stick to the agreement and accept conditions for a fair presidential election. So the US restored sanctions on Venezuelans gold sector on February 13th, and now Maduro is refusing to cooperate with deportations, meaning that some of the violent criminals residing in the US cannot be removed. Wow. Because that one that took out Lake and Riley, he is still in US custody. He's not gone. He's still here. You know, you better keep an eye on that because I bet you they will sneakily let him go and you won't know. Unbelievable. So, look like the sanctions are back on Venezuela. And that's why this president is saying, you better not fly them here because we're not taking them. So, who knows what the US is going to do from this point? I don't know. Maybe you can parachute them back in. I don't know. I'm just talking. Y'all tell me what you think about this video. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.